Fantasy Six-Pack Hour with your hosts, Joe Bob and AJ Applegarth.
All right. Welcome to the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me, as usual, co-host AJ Applegarth. What's going on, man?
What's not going on? It's been a week. Well, we'll just go with that. It's been a week, and what the hell? Goddamn Sixers. Sorry. Yes. Not much.
Sixers and Boston playoff game on the side there, so we might hear a little bit of yelling and screaming, but we'll get through it.
Possibly.
All right. So tonight, unfortunately, we are not going to be joined by our baseball third co-host, I guess, DapScout. He had prior plans, whatever. I see how it is, Dap. You leave us high and dry. Leave me with AJ by myself. Jeez, man.
Prior plans. That sounds made up. I mean.
All right, so tonight we're going to be jumping into some hot and cold hitters, and what we mean by that is, some players that got off the hot and cold starts in April, and then they've kind of reversed the trend now, 10, 11 days into May. So kind of look to see, was April a fluke? That kind of stuff. Like, look at some of the underlying stats, let you know if it's for real, how the trend has changed in the opposite direction, and what you should do with these kinds of players. Before we jump into that, though, just want to remind you all to hit those subscribe buttons, hit those like buttons, leave those 5-star ratings, leave those comments. We appreciate it, and we love hearing from you. And subscriptions are always active on FantasySixPack.net. Go to FantasySixPack.net/plans to become an all-access member today. We're going to be rolling out our fantasy football cheat sheets here coming soon. We've still got tons of baseball content for you. We've got our pitching and hitting planners. We've got our deep waiver wire, 40, 50 players deep every single week. We've got our Discord, which is the most invaluable piece to this whole subscription plan, in my opinion. You get to talk to us personally, ask your customized league questions directly to us on Discord, and multiple of us answer for you each and every time. So it is great stuff over there, and we have fun. We have fun answering all the questions. So look forward to talking with you guys there. But with that said, let's jump into things here. But of course, can't start without doing beer of the week.
Beer.
AJ, what did you just crack open, man?
Just cracked open a Devil's Backbone Brewing Co. This is their Alien Abduction Cold IPA, and it's got like a little alien deer cracker guy. So
clever.
Yes. It's not too heavy. It's only 7.1, so it's good though. It's nice, clean, and flavorful.
So I'm drinking one that I actually had on the NFL draft show, but I had one left over, so I didn't get to introduce it there because we were in the midst of talking craziness over there for a very busy night. But it's First State Brewing Company, a Delaware beer. Computation Obfuscation. Yeah, sure. We'll just go with that. I think I got it right. It's a double dry hop, hazy, double IPA, 8.2%. I don't remember what I gave it. I have to look it up on tap, but it's actually really, really good. That might be upwards of like 4.25, 4.5. That's solid. I like that one. I may not even remember having it on draft night. Not gonna lie. That wasn't that bad. No, I'm kidding. I just didn't check it in. Anyway,
likely story.
Hush. Let's see if I can spell it right here. I didn't already. Computation Yep, I didn't check it in. That's for sure. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Probably just sitting there like does not compute.
Yeah, pretty much. So one of my friends has had it. I wonder if it's you because you have that. No, it's
no.
I don't know who that is actually. Anyway, all right, let's jump into things here. We're gonna start off with the hot hitters. So this means that they're picking up some steam here now in May, and we're gonna start with Brandon Belt. The stat that we used to kind of differentiate between April and May, just to kind of lump everything together, was WRC plus. Now his WRC plus in April was 50. No bueno. Much of the Blue Jays lineup struggled in in April as well. Outside of Bichette, Vlad was okay. Had a little bit of a streakiness from Varsho, but other than that, it was pretty dismal from that offense. Well, and Matt Chapman was on fire in April.
Yeah,
we'll get to that one later. But now in May, granted short sample size, I get it, but his WRC plus is 237, man. His batting average is just out of the roof right now, man. He was 169 in April. He's up to 389 now. I mean, around the same, like he's pretty much hit the same stat line as far as, runs, RBI, home runs in, if I can do the math, 43 less plate appearances. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Do you think, now maybe not this good, but do you see him being able to sustain being a productive enough player worth rostering, or is this sort of a farce as far as, maybe he's going to go back to what he kind of did in April?
Belt's always an interesting case for me. He's kind of one of my kryptonite guys where, when he was in San Fran, I always had him on one roster or another at some point for multiple weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And I always caught the cold portion of Brandon Belt. I feel like, at least, but yeah, I mean, I think the WRC is kind of level out a little bit. I mean, that's a pretty drastic change. His walk rate has doubled. His K percentage is still very high.
Yeah.
So
do you want to give that number out, because it is extremely high.
45.5% for May.
41 in April. It wasn't much better.
Up from 41.5%.
Like, wow. That's a new one. That's
I
haven't seen that in a while.
That is something. He's also got a higher fly ball percentage. So, with him being a platoon guy, I don't know if I see these numbers sustaining where they are right now. But I do think that he's worth a roster spot while he's hot, and being able to plug him in on days that he's starting, it's worth it for me for right now. I don't know if I'll pick him up, because if I do, then I'll just screw everybody that is listening right now, because he'll just go back to being cold.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at roster percentages. I do know that as somebody who has Jose Abreu in a bunch of leagues, if Brandon Belt's sitting out there, mine, and then I'll platoon him with whoever the hell else I can pick up, because Jose Abreu is no longer rosterable in my opinion. This dude is garbage now at this point, which is sad.
I've already dropped him.
Yeah, I have not dropped him in NFBC, but he is firmly planted on my bench. He's very, very close to being cut in that league, but those are super deep leagues, and I don't have a lot of first base options. Thankfully, I drafted like Andrew Vaughn in the one league that I have him in NFBC, and so not that that's much better, but it's still better than Abreu right now. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that call out to me. The strikeout rate was number one for me over there. I mean, OBP leagues, like he's always been a monster in OBP leagues. He walks a lot, so I like that. I think the strikeout rate will come down. He's never been. I don't know truly what his career numbers are for strikeout rate, but I mean he's normally. Yeah, I'm looking at him now. I mean he's normally in like the 20, and these are career highs the last couple of years. 27 and 27% strikeout rate, never even close to 42-45%. That's crazy. That's coming down eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is though, when he makes contact, he is crushing the ball right now. Hard hit rate up at 62% this month. The weird thing is though, is like his, swing rate inside the zone is dropping this month. So it's almost like he's just not really seeing the ball very well, or he's being a little too patient. I don't know. It's weird with him. Again, first base is sort of a dead man's land for a lot of people, unfortunately. And so, yeah, I mean, pick him up if he's out there. But you're gonna probably find way better. Trying to finally pull up here the Brandon Belt roster percentage here. We are looking at a 2% roster rate, so he's probably out there. At least that's Yahoo and ESPN combined. So
yeah.
He's definitely out there in a bunch of leagues like that. So next up, you want to lead the way?
Yes. The Sixers just lost, by the way, so I'm
brutal.
Very, very happy. Javi Baez is the next guy we got here on. Are we just going straight through all the hots and then hitting the colds, or are we just going to go?
Yes.
You want
yes.
hots? I'll do
yes,
colds.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so Javi Baez is the next guy we got here for hot. He was sitting at a 63 with his WRC plus for April, and now he has tripled that basically and up to 180. So not as monstrous as a jump as Mr. Belt, but still a significant change. His walk percentage is down. His K percentage is also down. Granted, he's got about 60 less plate appearances too. So just give it some time. That'll grow. Average is back up though. So that's a good sign for him. A lot of his other stats are pretty telling. I mean, he's got 3 homers this month as opposed to none last. So what do you think about Javi? What are you doing with him?
I still really want nothing to do with Javi Baez. I did find it funny, and I forget where you put it, Mike. Was that you that was that in the random channel in Slack, or was that in Discord where you put something out there about Javi Baez, like not striking out for the first time in like 6 straight or something like that? I thought it was.
Oh yeah,
Here it is. So Javi Baez has gone 6 straight games without striking out. This is the first time in his career he's ever done that. For a guy who's been in the league for as long as Javi Baez has, that's hilarious. He's still impressive, but he's 30 years old. He's been in the league for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is his 10th year. So, yes, we all know Javi Baez is a very aggressive hitter. That's his MO. But look, maybe he's realized I'm not hitting the ball as hard as I once was, so I've got to be a little more patient, and it seems to be paying off for him. And time will tell if this is actually going to stick around for him. I'm a little skeptical. I'm not going to lie. So, I mean, I would say more patient. He's not striking out as much, but he's not walking much more either.
Yeah.
I think a lot of pitchers just sort of pound the strike zone with him. And you're seeing that because he's swinging inside the strike zone a lot, and so that's good. He's not swinging outside the strike zone as much right now. We know he also gets on very big hot streaks. He did this to start the year last year. He was a monster to start the year last year, and then just went absolutely ice cold pretty much the rest of the year. So a little skeptical with Javi Baez in a 9-game sample size. Something to keep an eye on, though. If he can keep it up for another week or so, I'd be willing to buy into it. I don't know what his roster should. I should have looked that up. He's rostered in 40% of leagues, so not as heavily out there in as much as Belt. That's kind of weird considering he's shortstop eligible, and it's pretty good shortstops out there.
Yeah, I think the one thing to look at too is, sorry, excuse me, I just sneezed very loudly, so that's why I sound like this now. The fact that he's on Detroit, I mean, he's gonna play because the team just needs people out there. They're not gonna win a bunch of games.
Mean they're bad?
So,
Dave Eddy, you listening?
Yeah,
talking
sorry,
trash,
Dave,
man.
But facts are facts, bro. I mean, he does have some power, and I think if the pitchers are going to keep pounding the strike zone like they have, he's going to keep going after balls, and the power is going to come through, especially once the summer heat starts coming in here. So I do think he can be a valuable source of power. But other than that, I mean, you're not going to get a bunch out of him. He's still just a guy in my mind.
Yeah, at this point in his career, he's nobody I'm like super duper excited about. Unfortunately, I mean, I had him in our OG. I keep hitting the wrong freaking button to post on Twitter. So anybody following me on Twitter right now, I'm sorry. I keep hitting the wrong damn button, and it keeps tweeting instead of doing spaces.
They switched something. I feel like
instead of hitting control to do a space, it's like I have to hit shift, and when I hit control enter, it keeps sending the tweet.
You're trying to do like
bullet points, basically.
Yeah,
it's driving me nuts. I hit control enter, and it keeps sending the tweet instead, and I'm like, no, what? Elon, stop changing things. Jackass.
Yeah, seriously.
Sorry. I'm gonna let you introduce the next one while I actually just get through this because it's driving me nuts right now.
So next guy we got here is Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Down in sunny Arizona. I mean, so far he was the best of the three in April with a WRC plus of 87. So getting close to that 100 average there. But now he's skyrocketed to 314. So kind of makes sense based on, the trajectory of where we've been seeing these things go. I've always been a fan of this guy. And, when he was in Toronto, again, another like kryptonite type guy for me. He just hasn't had a chance to get enough playing time, in my opinion. So he's got, in 105 plate appearances in April, he had 12 runs. He's already got 10 runs in 29 plate appearances so far this month. So that's huge that he's getting all these runs now. His walk percentage has gone up like almost eightfold, I guess. Maybe that's the right term. He was just under 4%. Now he's sitting at 24%.
Eightfold. That's funny.
So, I don't know if that's
make up some terms here.
I don't know if that's the right math or not, but I have been drinking, and the Sixers just lost. So I'm not trying to math right now. Deal with it. Big thing here is ISO is up at 591.
That's what he's crushing the ball.
That's amazing. So keep an eye on that. That could change. But
yeah, don't say.
I mean, he went from 1 homer to 4, so okay. I mean, he's just knocking the living daylights out of the ball.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on Mr. LG Jr.?
I mean, look, his draft cost, I loved it. I didn't actually get him anywhere for some reason. I kind of filled a lot of my
I
outfield
did
spots.
not this year either, actually.
I had my outfield pretty filled up by the time it got around to him, and I was just kind of like, I mean, I have other positions of need. You know, they were backups, but I needed other positions at that point. And so, you know, I looked at him, and yeah, 2021 was fantastic. You know, that was the year he hit 21 bombs, had an average around 276, and last year's average was 291, so still good. But the power just was completely zapped for him.
Yeah.
He dealt with some injuries off and on. Moving to Arizona, I wasn't really sure. Like, it's a kind of equal ballpark, I feel like. But the team clearly isn't as good as Toronto. So
you know who's not good on Arizona? That fat kid. He sucks. Sorry. That was for you, Dan.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, I think what we're gonna get out of Gurriel, in the long run, is a good batting average. That's what we've gotten for the last 2-3 years out of him. I don't think, pretty much his whole career actually. I don't think that's gonna change. He's gonna go on some hot streaks with power. That ballpark really does help. I believe they brought in the humidor, there to kind of suppress the power a little bit, but it's still fairly good there. That dry air out there in Arizona, it definitely helps carry the ball. I mean, Gurriel's Gurriel. Like, again, I just don't really see, clearly, like, the ISO isn't going to keep up here with this. BABIP's not going to stay at 462. That these numbers are off the charts good. I mean, he is I believe he is the best hitter in May as far as WRC plus. Or no, second best hitter. Josh Smith from Texas in a 3-game sample actually has a better WRC plus. So Gurriel is the best hitter in baseball right now as far all of May, as far as probably if you consider them qualified hitters. I lowered the plate appearance number just to get a few more players involved in the discussion here. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I say here. And weirdly enough, even with the stolen bases going way up, Gurriel's still not running. He's just like, nah, I'm good. He just doesn't run. For a guy who plays outfield, you think he'd be able to run. I don't know. I feel like outfielders need to be able to run a little bit. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I would think so. They have a lot more ground to cover when they're fielding. So, you would think they'd be able to cover the minuscule amount of feet that it is now between pizza box.
I guess it's jump and being able to.
All right. Sidebar.
Anyway,
so speaking of stolen bases here, why aren't people just attempting and trying to make the pitchers throw over, and then the pitcher can only throw over X amount of times before they have to tag the person out or throw them out or whatever?
Attempt what?
Attempting to steal bases. Every person who is on base should attempt to steal a freaking base.
I mean, Vogelbach should not attempt to steal a base, regardless.
Yeah, he should.
No,
I don't care.
He should not be the commercial. Buck Showalter would probably
he's
put
Daniel
him on a
Fat.
damn bench. We are seeing way.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a huge
more
uptick.
Stolen bases
from certain guys like Lourdes, who used to be,
he wasn't actually, man. His highest stolen base total was 6. Granted, that was 84 games with Toronto, but
that just seems off to me. I feel like I must have owned him for.
I think I always get him, and I think you're doing the same thing. I get him mixed up with the guy who got shipped to Seattle. Totally blanking on the name right now, but I feel like you're doing the same thing where you get him mixed up with Teoscar Hernandez.
Oh,
to where Hernandez stole 12 bases a few years ago. But yeah, still that's not too high.
That's what I'm thinking of, but I'm just not remembering correctly, or I just had him on that stolen base heater and was like, "Yeah, this guy steals all the time."
Yeah. It's yeah.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look, stolen bases are still up a like significant amount. We're talking about 0.7 stolen bases per game as opposed to 0.5 last year, which was pretty much right on average. This is a high so far on the season since 1999. This has been a while. We are on pace to break.
You know what I remember about 1999? I graduated high school. So, yeah. That's about all I remember.
That makes you older than me. And that's all that matters. All right, next up here, we've got Mr. Marcell Ozuna. This dude came into May and was just like, I'm just going to hit bombs. Yep. Like, that's just what I'm going to do. And, but that's, literally all he's done.
Exactly. It's like, you know what?
It's pretty funny.
If you're in a points league, you should have already picked me up on April 30th because now's my time to shine.
Yeah, I'm going back to his game log here just to look here because it is it's not great. But he came in, went 2 for 5, then went 3 for 5 with 2 bombs, then 1 for 5 with a bomb, then went 0 for 4, then went 1 for 4 with a bomb. Now he went 0 for 5 and 1 for 4. It's like, okay. So look, we know Ozuna's got, 35, 40 home run pop in his bat. It's a matter of is he going to get enough playing time in Atlanta? Can he bat for a decent enough average that they are going to keep his bat in the lineup? That would be the thing, because his batting average for the year is at 151. So not good. Strikeouts not too bad. Walks still pretty good. Strikeouts at 22%, walks at 13.1. But when he doesn't hit bombs, he's just not hitting it well enough, in my opinion. So I mean, what do you think about Ozuna?
Strikeouts went from 27 down to 12.5.
Yeah. I mean, hard hit rate in April was 36%. It went up to 52%, which is really good in May. But, again, you're not making contact with the ball enough. That's not going to matter.
Yeah, but it's still, it's only a little under half the plate appearances.
That's still a really good hard hit rate. That's a phenomenal hard hit rate.
I'm saying, just for the changes that we're seeing here, he's the closest one for plate appearances, I feel like. Granted, because he didn't start right off.
He's not. I don't think it's a primary player over there. Plus, they've had some injuries and things like that, so he's mixed in. Before you answer that, actually, let's get to this question because I know he's been hanging out for a bit. Charles, put you up here on the screen. Head-to-head 10-team league. Okay to drop Lance Lynn. I mean, I don't know who's available, but yes.
Yes.
Lance Lynn has been arguably one of the worst starting pitchers in baseball this year. I mean, look, I will say this. He started off really bad last year, and then when he finally came back, and then really picked up steam and finished off super strong. He's still striking out a good number of players. So, I would love to hear who you're considering picking up in his place, because pitching has just been kind of bad all around. So streaming is risky, but a guy with a 7.5 ERA right now
in a 10-team, I don't know if you really have to worry about people picking him up.
Right now, Yuri Perez I picked up. Yeah, that's a good one, and we're gonna get to him a little later. It's kind of our bonus talk here at the end. So, I'd be willing to take a chance on that. Yeah. Absolutely. So I like that. I do like that, Charles. Good move there. All right, Ozuna.
All right. Back to Ozuna. Again, if he's gonna maintain as this platoon type player, I just find it very hard to believe he's just going to annihilate the ball this much every time he's in and starting. He's swinging. I mean, even his Z swing is the same. I mean, his stuff really hasn't changed. It's weird. His ground ball percentage is lower.
He just started making better
Fly
contact
ball
with
is,
the ball is all it really is.
I mean, his fly ball is higher, so he's just hitting the ball harder. And
I mean, 52% hard hit rate compared to 36 the month before. That's really what it is, and that's Marcell Ozuna at this point in his career. He's a prototypical strikeout, and then when he hits the ball, it's gonna probably go pretty far. So, next up here for our last player who has gotten hot, MJ Melendez. And honestly, man, we could probably list a few of the Royals players here that they've not quite caught fire. I mean, the team's still pretty garbage, but the Melendez and even Sal Perez is kind of in that territory as well. Yeah. Both picking up steam here as we expected. WRC plus for Melendez in April was 59, now up to 150 in May. Granted, short sample size, but he's brought that strikeout rate down. It was at 35, now down to 23. BABIP's way up. Batting average, man, 200 points up from 174 to 314, which is a great sign. And we talked about him, I think, a couple weeks ago with Dap here, right? And we were just saying how he was hitting the ball, like his StatCast Baseball Savant page, man, was like all reds, which is good. Like hard hit rate, all in like the 90th percentile, launch angle, all this stuff. Like it just wasn't happening somehow for him. Like they just weren't falling in fair territory for some reason. Like they were getting caught. It was weird. So everybody's like, this has to keep happening. But the entire month of April, it was like, what the hell's happening? It just kept going wrong for him. But now it seems to be kind of turning in the right direction. Do you see this trend continuing for him?
For Melendez, yeah. I mean, we've talked about him a lot in our previews and a few weeks back. I mean, he seems to be the guy of choice for them, for Kansas City, to be behind the dish. So
no, he's actually playing a lot of DH, but still,
he's still splitting that with Sal.
Or no, hang on, maybe you're right.
It's the other way around. That's why I was like, what? Sal Perez is playing more DH. Or maybe both of them are. I don't know.
Actually, no, he's playing outfield. That's right. I knew he wasn't playing catcher. He's playing outfield, actually.
But but he's catcher eligible.
He's catcher eligible. He has he has 9 games at catcher, so he'll probably keep it. But he's got 24 games in right field so far this year.
Okay.
So he's primarily playing outfield.
Yeah.
Which is not something that I expected, to be honest. But
but
that'd be cool. You get an outfield catcher, I guess.
He's got the catcher eligibility is what I'm getting at.
And he'll be on the field a lot.
Yeah. So
which is why I kept him in our fantasy 6-pack league. In round 13, I was like, man, I'm going to get a catcher who's going to potentially. I thought he was going to DH a lot more, but
Sal.
Still, I thought he was going to
dealing more with the DH and more minimal catching, but I'm still kicking myself for not picking him up a couple of weeks ago before he really went on a heater. Perez, that is.
Perez was available in your leagues?
Yeah.
What? That's an automatic pickup, dude.
I was talking about it with my coworker, and I was like, literally had him queued and ready to hit yes, add. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll take a flyer. And he like hit it. I'm like,
oh,
what?
Jeez. Well, that's your
damn
fault.
It. No, yeah.
That is totally your fault there.
But then he dropped him. He dropped him like 10 minutes later. He's like, yeah.
Oh, because he was playing bad too. But anyway,
let's
Melendez here. So yeah, I'm looking at this Baseball Savant page. It's nuts, man. 98% percentile hard hit rate. Max exit velocity is in the 90s. Average exit velocity 98th percentile. Barrel rate 87th percentile. just monster. This guy is
yeah.
like, the problem is K rate in the 9th percentile. He's chasing pitches, first percentile. So like, you've got the good when he actually makes contact. He just needs to make contact too. Like, that's been a problem. So, maybe we're seeing some things in the stats that are showing that he can turn it around.
I think so. I mean, his Z swing, he's going after a lot in the zone. It's been very consistent, 68.9%, 68.8. But he's not really swinging a lot outside. So I think whatever he's going after, and then his, I mean, when
he's chasing pitches outside the zone, he's actually making like weird contact. So he's got a 60% contact rate outside of the zone in May, which is weird because he's actually like hitting better in May. But like, you don't want to be chasing. He's not really chasing because it's only 30% of his pitches, which feels pretty decent.
But it's like,
you're hitting 60% of those pitches that you're chasing.
Of that 30%,
so like, you're probably not going to make great contact.
Contact?
Yeah. 60% of the time it works. 30% of the time, I don't know. Does that work? I have no idea what the trend is. I
don't know. Yeah.
I'll say this though: his hard hit rate has actually gone up, 57%, as opposed to 35%. Like it was good before. Now it's even better. So
yeah.
And I think we're seeing that now in the stats. He's hit just as many home runs in a third many games. It's. I think Melendez is going to be just fine. So if you were panicking on him, or if for some weird reason he is out there, you need to snatch him up, in my opinion.
Yeah, if he's out there, shame on your league. Checking my leagues.
I am playing. My team is not too great this year in our league. It's sort of middle of the road right now. I'm kind of trying to play it steady. I feel like I got some good players. They've been a little underperforming, kind of like Melendez. So I'm just hoping things work out. It's tough when you've got you can't keep an Ozuna because of our rules, or not Ozuna, Acuna. I had to throw him back to the Wolves. And
who set those rules?
I know, but hey, we did it for a reason. Reason. It's so that I couldn't keep
annoying.
I couldn't keep Acuna and J-Ram and Judge for like 8 straight years and just dominate the league because I've got 3 first
even
round
if
picks.
you would have, you wouldn't have been able to keep them all anyways because of the first round.
Well, the way that we had it before, you could keep all of them. It would have just been my first 3 round picks.
No, that's
how we did it with ESPN. That was the only way I could do it.
That's
why we changed the rule. It got boring. Like the teams who just had a loaded team just dominated for like 7 straight years, and we only kept 4 players, but those 4 players mattered so much. Yeah. So I wanted 3 straight years with those guys, and now I can't keep them, so I'm gonna lose.
Yeah. All right. So moving in to some ice cold beverages. I'm just kidding. Hitters who have gone the way of the winter. First guy here is Mr. Pittsburgh, Jack Suwinski. Make sure I pronounce that correctly, hopefully.
What? No, sorry.
So Suey here had a nice 166 WRC plus for April. That was 22 games, 84 plate appearances, had a nice 6 home runs, 10 runs, 18 ribbies, and 5 steals. All very solid stats to start the year.
One of the better players in April. Picked him up for free.
And come May, he is all the way down to 29 for his WRC plus.
Good.
Maybe I picked him up somewhere and totally put this.
You better check that him. Man and drop his ass real quick because I've got him in about 4 leagues and I need to correct that.
I thought about it, but I did not. I know I did not.
I don't know what to do with it. Again, it's a short sample size. Everybody's going to go. I'm not dropping him by any means. No way. No how. The thing that strikes out to me is that he's striking out a lot more, like a lot more.
Yeah.
But if you look at his career averages, even in the minors, he had a pretty high strikeout rate.
He was hovering around
29. He was hovering around 30, but now it's up to
April.
43. I think he'll get back down. Like that's kind of where he was. Low 30s, high 20s. I think he can get back to that. I don't know if the slugging percentage is going to go back up to like 618. That's just not. I just don't feel like that's his game. But can he hit for better average, get on base? This Pirates team is actually way better than we thought they were going to be. So, if he can just consistently get on base a little bit more, make better contact, I think we're going to see the RBI and the run totals get back up. His stolen bases will go up a little bit too, just because he'll be on base. And we've clearly seen that he can run. The power, I don't know. It's hard to project. Maybe we see a dozen more home runs from him the rest of the season. If somebody wants to, buy him off of you, thinking they're going to get April stats out of him the rest of the year, yeah, I'm fine with selling him for that. But I would hope that most people in your league don't think that. But I'm sure those people are out there, and you could probably still sell relatively high to say, oh, he's a little bit of a funk right now. He'll be good. He's got to stop hitting so many fly balls this month though. His fly ball rate is up to 75%, and I know you want to say fly balls mean home runs, but not always. You're popping them up. They're not home runs. You know what I mean? Because his hard hit percentage is down to 33%, which means a lot of those fly balls aren't carrying the way that they probably should.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely like Suwinski, and if I did own him, I would agree with keeping him and riding this out, see what happens. He's got nowhere to go but back up at this point. So if you have other guys you can plug and play in his position there till he heats back up, then yeah, I don't see any problem in keeping him for right now.
Yeah, his BABIP is .091 this month.
Yeah, that's
not gonna happen. All right, next up here for a player who has gotten cold is Mr. Joey Gallo. There was a lot of people thinking like, oh man, now he's back. The shift is out. He's back, baby. 7 home runs in April, 14 RBI, hitting .236, which is really good for Joey Gallo. I know he had that one year that was like right around 300, which was like
up there.
Crazy. But yeah, man, the dude was just mashing in April. Come May, man, no, man. You want to hear a bad WRC plus? How's some -4 action going? Negative.
That's hot.
I didn't even know that was possible. I'm not
No,
gonna lie.
that's cold. That is not at all.
What's your thoughts with Gallo, man? People got him for free. He wasn't really drafted anywhere, unless you're in, 40 round leagues, NFBC. I know he got snagged in a lot of those, but your home leagues, he was out there. You could snatch him up for free. I'm looking up his rostership percentage now. Still at 19. He's still sitting out there. You taking a chance on a guy like Gallo who, look, we talked about how first base is just a dead zone for a lot of people.
Yeah.
He's got first base eligibility.
I did pick Joey up, and he immediately sucked. So I will take partial blame for this, but
you need
I
to
am not the one
post
in the
your
diamond.
pickups on Twitter every single day.
Don't
just
pick
so
this
that
up.
everybody knows. Drop or trade this guy.
AJ's pickups of the day. Please do not follow suit. Yeah, it's weird because he's walking more.
AJ,
What? Oh,
don't upset Jobu. Stop picking up people, man.
It's my body. I do what I want.
What?
I don't know. South Park reference.
I know, but it made no sense. It wasn't in reference to anything.
It makes plenty of sense right here.
Okay.
Again, his walk rate somehow went up to 18.5. His strikeout percentage is basically the same and actually went down by 0.5.
No, not really.
Yeah, no.
I mean, like, we all know he's an OBP. Like, in OBP leagues, absolutely, like, he's a target for me. In average leagues, it's I don't know.
How do you have a 0.045 average? Like, did you just accidentally swing and hit something one time? Like, oh shit! I didn't mean to. Wait, I can run. Oh. All right, fine. I'm going. Like, how?
No idea, man. That's
I feel like I could still have a better average than that.
No, you couldn't.
No.
Your batting average would absolutely be 0. Yeah.
Nah, I'd bunt. Suicide squeeze, baby.
Dude,
Get my own fat.
You wouldn't make it to first base in time. That catcher would be like, boom. They would take their time, be like, how's that ball looking today? They would throw you out so fast. There's no way. You are slow as molasses, dude.
No way.
We still got to do that race this year, dude. At the expo. We
do.
Wussed out last year on me.
Wussed out?
Yes, you did.
I was drunk.
I was ready to roll over there, man.
46 hours straight. You really wanted to race me like that?
That was your problem. That wasn't mine. I was ready to go.
Yeah, whatever. Every time I mention it, you're like, I don't want to go back to the Hall of Fame.
Liar.
You're a liar.
All right.
All
so
right,
the other Toronto Blue Jay that we alluded to earlier is Matt Chapman. Had a fantastic April. Hit 5 bombs, 21 RBI. Yo, this dude, like, the Blue Jays weren't good, but he was.
Yeah.
Batting average was 384. Slugging was 687. I mean, just everything going right for Matt Chapman. I mean, absolutely to turn it back the clock in April. Now May, turn it back the clock to the other years.
Yeah.
Like last year.
Just kidding, everybody.
Not a whole
Just
lot.
kidding.
206 average, not so hot here. I mean, I mean, look, again, you know, we're struggling with first base this year. Is he a guy that you're expecting to, you know, or your hope, or sorry, he's only third base. I thought he had first base eligibility. Why did I think that? I don't know why I thought he had first base eligibility at some point.
I don't either.
So I feel like he's just one of those like older, bigger third basemen that transitioned to first at some point. I don't know why.
Maybe.
Anyway, I mean, like, what's you know, what do you think about Chapman? Is May more of the guy that we should expect, or is April more of the player we're gonna get the rest of the year?
I mean, with Chapman, I think you're looking at, again, all of the contact rates and everything are fairly in line. At least his O contact percentage, right there. His Z contact percentage is down, which I feel like is better. If he's not making contact as much on weird stuff outside, you know, he's not pulling the rabbit out of the hat like whoever we just talked about. Not Gallo.
Gallo?
No.
Suwinski?
Yes, Suwinski. I mean, I still like Chapman. I'm not cutting bait or like trying to trade him at this point just based off of this. Yeah, it is a big dip, but if he can bring the K percentage back down, I mean, he's striking out now at a 33% clip as opposed to 23%. He needs to just refocus on being able to just make contact and not strike out.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, I mean, his strikeout rate's actually better than it has been in his entire career
Yeah.
since 2019. So for the last 3 years, it's gone. It has now gone down. I just think Chapman's what he is now, right? He's a mediocre, average player, right? His batting average is not going to be 338 the rest of the year. And we're seeing that already. Like in this month, it's down to 206. The last couple of years, it's been at 210, 229. The year before that, 232. We're not going to get the 2018 Matt Chapman where he hit 278, even 250. That's not going to happen. So honestly, in my opinion, if somebody wants to take Matt Chapman off your hands, seeing a 338 batting average with 5 bombs and all these RBI and runs,
yeah,
I'm okay. Because guess what? Regression's a bitch, man. And what that really means is that he's going to regress hard. And so the rest of the way, he's going to be he might be below his yearly averages the rest of the year. Now the power might still be there, but his average might dip to 215 the rest of the year, 210, 220 at best, in my opinion. Now, I mean, offense is up, so maybe you expect it to be let's go 225, right? 230 at best, right? But I just don't see a 250, 260 hitter the rest of the way, in my opinion.
Yeah,
That's just not. That just hasn't been his game for his entire career, pretty much.
yeah.
So if you're okay living with that, then you keep him. But if you want to go for a more balanced hitter, you need average help, then I'm okay. Toss him away and look. There's gonna be people.
If you need average
leagues.
help, you're keeping this guy. He's at a 384. Come on, dude.
You didn't.
What are you even reading?
You didn't listen to anything I just said, did you?
I
Anyway.
did.
All right, last up here. Well, not last up. We got a little fun one later. But Max Muncy, clearly, just a crazy good month of April as far as power goes. 11 bombs, only led to 22 RBI, which was kind of crazy. Only 18 runs. Batting average wasn't great, but it did start picking up. He started off super cold like the first couple of weeks, and then it was just like, man, this guy just couldn't miss, and it was just home run after home run after home run. Really gotten cold here in May. WRC Plus is down to 41 for this month. Only 1 bomb. Now, here's a funny thing. He's hitting for less average, but he's now hitting, few more RBIs. He's got 7 already in 8 games as opposed to 22 and 25 games in April. But a lot of things going in the opposite directions as far as the other metrics. So what do we think with Muncy here the rest of the year?
Well, first of all, I think if he hasn't already done this, he needs to change his walk-up music to AWOL Nation's Here Come the Runts, and then make it Here Come the Months. That would be fun. If you know that song, then you know why I'm saying that. Joe, clearly, I'm sure you do not know that song, so
do not. I'm saying I have no idea what you're talking about.
Listen to it. It's pretty funny. Not funny. My take on it is funny because I'm a funny guy. Anyway, Muncy. He plays on a very good Dodgers team. He's going to get opportunities. He's going to get guys that are on base ahead of him, so the RBIs are going to come. They already are, or already have, but then I don't know. Like he's kind of bouncing back and forth here. Dude, the power drop is what scares me. Coming out in April and crushing 11 homers is kind of unheard of in general. But the fact that he's only got 1 already in 8 games, and we're really halfway through the month. That's not really giving him high hopes for barely getting past 20 for the season. So
Well,
I
think he'll be fine there.
I know. I'm just making again a point here. So his fly ball ratio or percentage is still way up above 50. So I'm not worried about that. I think it's just odd that he only has the one based off of how many he hit in April. Typically, as the months get warmer, you tend to hit more home runs. So
typically, yeah. I mean, the thing that I look at here is that it's the type of contact, right? So he's hitting a lot less hard hit balls than he did in April, and that makes sense. It was 42% in April.
Yeah,
it's now down to 21%. 21% is really bad. Like that's not good. Muncy, is a guy who I took a flyer on in a lot of leagues, especially second base. If I didn't get one of those top guys, I was just like, sure. Last year wasn't great, but he ended pretty well, and I'm hoping he can bounce. Get back to, if I can get. I mean, he had 3 straight years of 35 plus home runs. Excluding the 2020 year, which obviously he wasn't going to hit 30 bombs in 60 games. But 35, 35, 36, and then last year he was coming off the injury, didn't play very well to begin, finish off really hot, and so I was hoping like it can carry that, but we're not. With him, like the batting average isn't there anymore, so you kind of had to build around that, and that's just something you're just gonna have to deal with. He's kind of Matt Chapman-esque, just second base, which can still be very valuable. You're gonna get 30 bombs out of a dude at second base. I'm not selling that for cheap, even if he's gonna get me a 210 average. I'm hoping he can bounce back to at least like 220, 225. But right now we're not seeing it. And, he batted, what was it? He batted 238 in April, and now he's back down to 133. So, I mean, that's where I'm at with him. It's just sort of like whatever. I mean, BABIP's not much higher. So, in fact, in April, he exceeded his BABIP, which was kind of weird. You don't typically see that. So that those are things that you've just got to realize with your team. Like, can you handle the batting average hit? He walks a fair number of times, so OBP leagues he'll be fine. But those batting average leagues, if you want the power, you're gonna have to figure out how to build the average around him. Because I will say, as the season goes on in roto leagues, ratio holes are harder to get out of than counting stat holes. So, like, if you start falling behind in WHIP, ERA, batting average, that kind of stuff, it's going to be harder to climb out of than if you're 30 home runs behind. Because then, if you build up your batting average, then you can, just go target some low average guys because you've built up such a such a good base of batting average that you can then maybe punt it for a week or two, just go get a bunch of home runs, and then go back to normal or whatever. So, it's just you just got to play the strategy game there with him. But I still think Muncy's going to be fine. I'm not thinking this start to May is really him. The fact that his hard hit rate is so down is really strange. Unless there's an injury we don't know about. That's the only thing I would say. So the last guy here, and just poking a little fun at that, just because he's not here, and because he's not here to defend himself. So, so be it. Taylor Walls. If you watched last week's show, Taylor Walls is Dap's man crush a little bit here. So, but that being said, he hats off to him. He did point him out, and he's been amazing this year Dude, nobody had him on it. Dynasty leagues didn't have him on his radar. This guy was a nobody. Hit 4 bombs in April. He's already hit 2 in May, but not much else to show. But regardless, WRC plus a 174. It's dropped to 90, so he's still right around league average. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to poke fun at Dap a little bit, because he has got a little bit colder. But I think we all sort of expected that, right?
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that's jumping out at me here that's really increased, almost more than Dap's, love for him is his K rate's up 10 more %. He's back up around 30. His ISO's up a little bit. BABIP way down. That's a real boner.
It's funny, like the hard hit rate's gone way up, but it hasn't led to. I mean, he's hit 2 home runs in 7 games, so maybe that makes sense. But the batting average is down because maybe he's just like swinging for the fences or something. I don't really know.
I mean, it must be. He has no line drives yet.
That is funny. I mean, I just noticed that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is pretty funny.
So, yeah, I mean, his contact's down a little bit. Swinging strike rate is up, almost doubled. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This guy's...
Yeah, there wasn't much to say here. Okay. I don't really think anybody's going out and picking up Taylor Walls and expecting, crazy things from him. But, yeah, it was more just a poke fun at Dap. So, alrighty. Got a couple more things here, just a quick run through and just some kind of hot topic things here. Wanted to get opinions on Max Scherzer. I mean, this dude is struggling this year, man. ERA up at 5.5. He's never had an ERA above 4.4, which was once. Other than that, he's never been above 3 something, and he's been usually in the 2s. So, I know he dealt with the suspension, which I don't think should have been a suspension, in my opinion. But now he's dealing with a neck injury, and his start has been pushed back twice now this week, and they're hoping he can start Sunday. He attempted to play catch on Wednesday and caught the session short because his neck was spasming. Like, I don't know, man. I've dealt with back and neck issues. Like, I'm not throwing a baseball when I've got neck and back issues, and for damn sure, I'm not throwing it at a major league level. We talked about this before the season. Him and Verlander and these guys that are 38, 39 years old, like, it's not like Max hasn't had neck issues in the past. He's been knocked out from the Nationals many times because of stuff like that. So what's your level of concern here with Max going forward?
Well, my level of concern is that he's already got a 5.56 ERA, and his expected ERA is only a 5.23. So, not good. I love it because it's for the Mets. So I hope he plays the rest of the year with this injury and just sucks beyond belief. No, I really don't, because I do love Scherzer. Been a huge fan of his.
7.9. That's wild. He hasn't been below 10.
Horrific.
Since
2011.
2012. I mean, my level of concern is 21, as in 21 Pilots. Yeah. What? Oh, talking about songs you don't know. Come on. Get with the younger crowd, man.
Level of concern, 21 Pilots. I don't.
You don't know the song?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, look it up.
Called Level of Concern?
It is.
See? Picking up what you're putting down now.
Right.
Back in the game. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. Like,
down that bunt real nice.
I have Scherzer in 2 leagues. I'm clearly not cutting him. I'm just holding out hope that he goes on gets back to normal.
Yeah, I mean,
because I feel like any trade offers for him right now are going to be total lowball offers. Look, if somebody comes at me and wants to give me, I don't know, 80, 90 cents on a dollar for him, I might take that. But I don't feel like you're getting that right now with him. I feel like you're going to get a lot worse. You know,
I mean, he's really been. I mean, it's like his whole repertoire is changed right now. Line drive rate is still pretty similar to career numbers. His ground ball rate is way down, and his fly ball rate is the highest it's ever been.
I mean, velocity is kind of down for him. That's the concerning thing the most. Like his velocity on his fastball is down a whole mile per hour, which doesn't seem drastic, but like that does matter. Like, same thing for his slider.
It does.
His cutter is down a whole
with
2%,
this type of an injury.
Not 2%, 2 miles per hour. So
yeah,
there again, it could be age, it could be just him being hurt. We don't know. Maybe he just need to go on the DL.
He's not
get a cortisone shot. Take
at all.
Take the legal steroids and get that stuff taken care of. Get the inflammation down. That's
the big thing too. Like, he obviously had the suspension because of the funny stuff. I mean, this isn't the first time in his career that he's been accused of being a cheater. So,
did you see the ESPN broadcast that weekend after he got suspended?
I did not. No.
I forget who it was on the broadcast.
Are you talking about the interview that he had?
Like one of the broadcasters. He's a pitcher, and I'm blanking on his name right now. He went into the clubhouse, or went somewhere and had a rosin bag, had the alcohol rub, right? That they told him to clean it off with. And he's like, "Look, here's what it was." He took the rosin bag, put it on his hand. He's like, "Look, it's really sticky, right? It's already sticky, right? But it's enough, right? And you can kind of see it, you can kind of feel it." Then he's like, "Look, then I went down and I wiped it off with the alcohol, which the umpires told him to do." Then the guy was like, "Dude, I can barely get my fingers apart." He was like, and I'm like, "They suspended this dude for this? This is the umpire's fault."
Yeah.
So yeah, totally crazy.
Was it David Cohn?
I think it might have been. Yes, actually, you're right. Yes, yeah,
yeah. So
Trevor Bauer also did a video a while back about it as well.
Oh, Trevor Bauer is a joke. I'm not listening to Trevor Bauer.
You know what else?
You're right. He is a joke. I'll give you that. But I was just saying, it's well documented what a rosin bag does with sweat and alcohol.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of nonsense that they.
I mean, why are you pouring beer on your hands in the middle of a game? If you spill it while trying to catch a fly ball,
I thought they weren't allowed to sell beer after the seventh inning.
How they hand? Fine.
Talk to the Brewers. They're doing it through the eighth inning now, which is crazy.
Orioles already did it through the end of the seventh. They didn't change.
That was only club level or whatever, but yeah. No, the Brewers now are doing it through the eighth because the games are shorter, so they have less beer sales, which actually is the complete opposite of the reason for having the the cutoff. So the game is shorter, the innings are shorter, so now you're going to let people drink farther into the game, which means they have less time to sober up. Makes perfect sense, Milwaukee. Good job.
That sounds like a Wisconsin thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where's my cheese and my beer?
Anyway, let's move on here. Jarren Duran. This guy has been crazy good for the Boston Red Sox this year. I'm looking at some of his underlying stats though, and I'm not really sure I'm buying into this continuing. I'm looking at stuff like his BABIP's up all the way up at 482. That's just insane. He barely walks. Strikeouts are 25. I mean, that's a pretty typical number. I don't know if I really believe it. His home run per fly ball rate is 8.3. Now he's not a power hitter. We know that, but do you think this could even remotely continue at this level, Or is this just like, man, sell high as fast as you can?
Yeah. I mean, you'd have to be crazy like the wolf to hold on to Duran here.
I like it.
You know, if you want to hold him, cool, I get it. But I hope you're in a dynasty league. Otherwise,
isn't it hungry like the wolf? But I know what you meant.
What?
Isn't it hungry like the wolf?
Yeah. What did I say? Crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. Whatever.
Close enough.
If you're hungry enough, like a wolf, for Duran's stats now, just keep him on your dynasty team, and he'll take you to Rio, baby.
Yeah. Again, I don't. I mean, he never.
I don't want to be in an ordinary world with this guy not playing this well.
He never really showed this even in the minors. 2022 in the minors had a pretty good year, but. This is even surpassing that, so I do think there's going to be some regression coming. So if somebody wants to buy him off of you for, a player that I think you can rely on the rest of the year, I'd pull the trigger. Otherwise, just ride the hot streak. That's kind of what you do. Like that's fantasy baseball, that's fantasy sports in general. So enjoy. Yeah. Moving over here to the Yankees. Luis Severino is starting his rehab appearances, and so should be back soon. And the Yankees are snake bitten with a lot of injuries, unfortunately. Hey, what's up, Dab? You missed our Taylor Walls talk, man. We gave you a little shout out there, but he's turn a little cold, man. Crazy.
So speaking of Trevor Bauer and Duran, girls on film. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, moving on.
Yeah. So Luis Severino, I will thank Dap for these last few topics here. He helped out. He's clearly got a spot in the rotation. Who's out? Is it Clark Schmidt? Is it Brito? Is it Domingo Germán?
It's got to be Brito. And dude, why wouldn't it be Brito?
Because Clark Schmidt also sucks. They're both bad.
Take them both out.
They need help. I mean, they desperately just need help. Unfortunately, Carlos Rodon is nowhere to be seen anytime soon. Yeah. Got a cortisone injection, so that's not looking good. I don't know, man. It's probably gonna be Brito, but I mean Schmidt could easily go as well. He's been really bad.
So I mean, I don't disagree with that, but I just think Brito is the one for me that I would give the boot. Because you can move. Well, I don't know. They really don't have many other options.
No. There's not a whole lot there. They got Montas and Rodon and Severino all on the IL. It's pretty bad. Do they acquire somebody? I mean,
what if they bring
the way they're playing right now? Why? I mean, I guess they're fighting for a wild card spot still, but I mean, if they're still, if you come June, July time and they're not picking things up here, I don't know if they really will go out and pick anybody up. I mean, they're the Yankees. They're probably just going to spend stupid money anyway because they can. But I mean, yeah, they'll probably do something just because they always think they're in it. But I think it's kind of fool's gold this year, unfortunately. Especially if Stanton and Judge and them can't all get healthy.
Yeah, the thing I will say for Schmidt is that at least he strikes guys out.
That's true. That's true.
He's got almost twice the strikeouts that Brito's got.
Like the opposite of Moneyball. At least he gets on base. At least he strikes people out, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
He does have a higher whip, but I still think that they're going to give him a little bit of a longer leash. don't really like it, but I don't really care at the same time. I hope both of these guys stay in because they both suck, and I hate the Yankees. So
nice.
There's that. But yeah, I think with Brito being a little bit younger too, they're gonna try to Dodger him and cap his innings a little bit more so than a Clark boy.
No, it would make sense. Last guy up here is the Yuri Perez coming up here soon for the Marlins. They acquire the entire age rotation for a used gum wrapper. Nice. I like it. It's getting the call up here. We'll be starting for the Marlins. Pretty big top prospect here. Dave Eddy has him at 154 in his in his dynasty rankings. I'm assuming if he had known he's going to get called up from AA in 2023, it would have been a little bit higher. But I don't think a lot of people really expected this to happen. But this guy is, one of the top prospects in the game. What's your thoughts here as far as Perez? Is he somebody that you're willing to pick up? And we already Charles, who, if you're still listening, already picked him up. I'm all in.
Yeah.
Like, give it a shot. Pitching has been awful this year, as we've talked about with Scherzer and so on and so forth. I want to take a shot at some of these young guys. These young guys that come up, Logan Allen's, the Tampa dude. Why am I blinking on his name? Who then got sent back down, unfortunately, but he'll be back up soon. What?
Taj Bradley.
Yeah, Taj Bradley. Like, these guys have come up and they've performed well in their short stint. Not all of them, but those guys have. Now you could also get Brandon Pfaadt. And, that's what Perez could be. So
he's been
you willing to take a chance on Perez and, possibly get Brandon Pfaadt, or are you going to hope you get Taj Bradley?
I'm fat.
Logan Allen, I used to well, Charles. There you go. Good call, man. That was good. That was a good move.
Yes. Sorry, I'm trying to get.
I love this kid, man. His K per 9 rate is phenomenal. Like over 12 in AA that last year and this year. WHIP is just untouchable. Doesn't really doesn't walk a lot of guys. Keeps the contact pretty good here. Ground balls over 50% this year. The dude's just dominating. So I feel like. There you go. Yeah, I was going to say this. He's the youngest Marlins player to debut since Jose Fernandez. I was just going to say that, Tap. Way to steal my thunder, boy. All right.
But
anyway, why don't you just jump on the show, man?
He's Miami. This is what they do. They just churn out these young, solid, pitching prospects all the time. This guy's a monster. 6'8", 220. I mean, this is Randy Johnson-esque. He's. I was hoping that it would be more like Wandy Rodriguez, but that's about my height and size, and damn near almost my birthday too.
What are you talking about?
I'm going off key here. All right, just
do we know what we're talking about? No, we don't.
Yeah, I'm talking about Wandy Rodriguez.
Why?
Because
so that brings up a good point here, and I was going to ask you about this too. He did only throw 77 pitches last year, or innings pitched last year. He's already up to 31. Now, normally we see what, a
30-ish bump,
20 to 30 inning bump each year. So what, we're looking at 105. So at this point, we're looking for another 70-ish innings. So he's definitely going to get managed quite a bit. He might even get turned into a bullpen arm at some point because the Marlins aren't going anywhere. Let's be real.
That's probably where his value is going to be.
But does that hold you back from picking him up and just riding the hot streak, right? If he can be a good pitcher now,
I mean, I'm all for picking him up and riding it out and then cutting bait. I mean, what the hell is he going to do for you after All-Star break? If he's
I think that's where they might throw him in the bullpen, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think your point is spot on.
The benefit of that would be like in the one league I have where it's SP and RP, and you can just have that consistent guy like a Nick Martinez, a Leiter Jr. who we just talked about the other week.
You're saying next year, like because he'll have relief pitcher eligibility, but he'll be a starter.
I'm saying for this year. If
really?
until he hits that cap. I mean, it's a fine balance of how many starts are they going to give him before they put him in the bullpen, and then have that extra 30
or
innings
just straight
or
up
whatever
shut
it
him
is.
down. I've seen teams do that too, but
yeah, I mean they very well could. And seeing as it's Miami and they likely aren't going anywhere, that's probably the case.
Yep. I'm with Dap and Dap. Dap saying
still pick him up, keep him away from boats and cocaine, and he's fine.
Arm injury, churn this year. I mean, it's rough out there. So take what you can get while you can get it, right? And that's kind of my motto right now. Like I'm just trying to take anything I get, and I mean, hell, in our league, AJ and Dap, you're in this league too. I've been stashing Taj Bradley for the last 2 weeks just because I'm just waiting for him to come back. Like they're trying to get him on schedule, is all they said, but it's been a little bit longer than I was hoping. I thought it was going to take like a week.
I don't think it's going to be like this week thing. He's another guy I feel like that's going to eventually hit inning issue.
Well, Bradley's actually got a bit more of a leash, in my opinion. He pitched combination last year, 74 plus 60. If I could do the math, 130. Right? 134 innings last year.
Yeah.
133 actually is what it was. But so you add 15 you add 15 to 20% to that. You're getting
it should be up around 160-ish.
160-ish. That's a pretty solid year for most pitchers, right?
Yeah.
He's only at 15-ish, right? Or 30-ish total this year. He's still got some leash. So I feel like when he comes back, he's going to be able to go the distance. They might hold him to like 5 1/3 games, but I don't care. I'm in quality appearance leagues now, so go get me those.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think it's just it's a game of trying to figure out, is this going to be worth stashing this guy? It depends on where your team sits too. I mean, it's baseball. It's a long season. So, even if you're, have 1 or 2 wins so far in a head-to-head points league or something, or if you're just, like Joe's mediocre team in F6P league and kind of just hovering above water, he can still make a run. I'm ahead of you. That's where I am. All right. Okay. How's my ass look? Good in these jeans. That's how.
Okay.
All right, Bills, Rio, G.
You're ahead of me by like a game and a half. Bite me.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Still ahead, bitch. But yeah, Bradley, I think, is a more interesting case because
why did we talked a lot more about Bradley than we did Perez. The whole point of it was Perez, but anyway.
Was it? I thought it was Jackie Bradley.
I just realized we said that.
Totally off.
Totally got off there, but Yuri Perez, again, good target. Go get him. He could turn into a guy like Taj Bradley, I think is what we were trying to say. So We're going to close it out there. We're at an hour 25. Thank you all for listening. Tune in next week. We will be back, and hopefully Dap will be too. that is all we got.
Girls on film.
Peace out.
Later on.